Senator Lindsey Graham argued that the world is literally about to blow up. Is the world getting more dangerous for the United States? Well, Senator Graham is, in this case, I think, emblematic of a constant tendency in the United States, which is to threat inflate, to treat every international problem as though it is a mortal danger to the United States. I would argue relative to other periods in our history, such as World War II or the height of the Cold War, the United States is in fact substantially safer now than it has been at most of its modern history as a great power. We face no peer competitors of equal power to the United States. We have lots of allies around the world, most of whom are favorably disposed to us. Not all of our allies are, but most of them are. And there's hardly anyone that can inflict really significant damage upon the United States. Even something as horrific as 9/11, which is about the worst thing that's happened to the United States in many, many years, was a major problem, but not an existential threat. The United States economy recovered from it, et cetera. And the things we've done to ourselves, such as the invasion of Iraq or the massive interventions elsewhere in the Middle East, have done more harm to the United States than anything a foreign actor has done to us in decades.
Which is why this is the most important question in the deck, I predict already. Because our fear has guided us to do really horrible things that have hurt us. And so you have to fight back very, very hard. When someone says this is the most dangerous time in their lifetime or in recent history, you have to say it is not. Absolutely not.
The only existential threat we face is from ourselves.
Right.
But there's another issue here, right? So the world is about to blow up. Is the United States safe or not safe, right? These are actually two questions. Like, it might be the case that the world is going to blow up and that
What
the
does
world
that-
is...
what does that mean?
blow up mean?
So I think it's the fires burning all over the world. It's that there's going to be civil war in a bunch of Middle Eastern countries, that there could be conflict between China and its neighbors, that there's a refugee crisis in Europe. There's things happening everywhere. It seems like the pace of stuff happening is accelerating. It just feels that way. It might not be true, but it feels that way.
Do you feel that way? I mean, I think that's an illusion. There's always everything happening all over the place.
There's no context. There's no context.
I think the point is that even if the world burns, the United States isn't burning. Like, we can go seek out the fires. Like, if there's a fire somewhere, we could rush toward it and make it our fire.
And make them worse.
And make it worse, or not. But Senator Graham is assuming that if there's a fire somewhere in the world, it is inherently our problem. We must try to fix it.
But it ignores all the advantages that we actually have. I mean, this goes back to John's, you got the big moats.
Yes.
You have the world's largest navy, the world's strongest military, period. You have an incredibly strong economy, which is the foundation of military power. So we are just not in the same situation that other states are historically.
But let's not exaggerate the point. I mean, this happy situation was at its peak in the decade or so after the Cold War. And we're still much safer than we were during the Cold War, but things are getting more dangerous. Russia's back, China's rising, not as bad as sometimes in the past. But, let's not be absolutist about it.
This is a kind of nostalgia for the unipolar moment.
But the question here is, why is there this big disconnect between the reality that we see and what's going on in Washington? And I think the answer is that if you want to run the world, you have to argue that the world is blowing up, and this is going to blow back into the Western Hemisphere and affect the
It's going to blow back.
And the final part is then to argue that it's actually relatively easy and cheap and risk-free to go out and try and manage it and solve all those problems.
Because we have the magic formula.
Right. We have the power.
And
because
that
we have the
actually
power
tends
to actually
make it
do
worse.
something about it.
And because the post-Cold War world seemed like the natural order of things to many people, and when other things started going bad, it looked much worse than it really is.